I'm one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth.
I love Caesar salad.
Yeah, that's how we
Hold
begin.
it. You got only Albert in there.
That's what I want. I wanted Obert. I'm going to call you Obert from now on. Obert, telephone.
People get really weird. The weirdest weirdos, when they see my name, they think like I've had a lot of crazy homeless people thought I was an alien and stuff, or like hippie people are like, oh, you've got to be this, man, because my name Robert and Oberst is almost the exact same. Oberst. And like that really, if you're on drugs, and I've been throughout my life a couple times, a lot of people really, really get fascinated by my lettering.
You don't even need to be on drugs. You can be dyslexic and you'd be all screwed up by that name. Like I remember when I first seen it, I was just like, oh boy, this guy's interesting. Anyways, the show's called Husky Boys. That's Robert Oberst. You spell it out how you want to spell it out. He's the American monster. My name's Ian Bagg. I'm just a dude. We both grew up Husky Boys. Mm-hmm. And now we talk about life and everything in general. Today, our guest is Steve Simeone. He's going to pop in later on. Comedian extraordinary and just all-around nice guy. I think one of the most liked comedians in the world, just to tell you that.
Yeah, he definitely gets along with everybody.
So you know what we have to do? We have to find out who he doesn't get along with. That's our mission. That's our mission.
I'll get him to tell you a story about one night. I'll get him to do that.
Okay. All right. How'd you meet him? How'd you become friends with him?
Steve and I met when I was living in LA. And I was popping in at the Comedy Store quite a bit, and like I wasn't trying to be a comedian. I really was working on like stage presence, being comfortable, and for me, I can go up on stage in front of any amount of people and somehow it'll kind of work. Like whether it's funny or whatever, it'll always kind of work. Like my size, I have like a Sprite shirt. If I'm wearing a big Sprite shirt and I go on stage, the whole show is going to be easy because I'll just say, you order a large Sprite, you know, like it's easy. Like it's like being a prop comic, you know? Mm-hmm. And Steve was helping me work on a lot of that stuff at the time, and I wasn't really doing, like I said, comedy. I was mostly doing stories and stuff, but him and I wrote some stuff together and worked together. We've done, I mean,
that's the great part about comedy clubs is people go in to work out different things. It's not just stand up. Like actors go in they do stand up because they're in between doing shows or trying to get gigs, and it just keeps them fresh. Actual comedians get all bent out of shape because they're usually better than them. But you know, like
most likely, it's funny. Yeah.
But it's
for
funny.
Me too. What I was gonna say was that like, even though it's easier for me to like I've only bombed like once or twice where it was like
bragger.
But I mean, like the kind of uncomfortable where it's just like,
right,
everybody have a good night. You know, it's like big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. You know, that's like it's funny. Like that thing. But I was doing it because I would disassociate. Like, does that make sense? Like I'd go up and I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I did or whatever.
It's my whole career, bro.
And really, you do that?
Yeah. It's my whole career.
I'm trying so hard to break that. I'm trying so hard to be there.
Why do you want to break it? Because if you do that, you're actually in the moment, and you want to be in the moment.
I get that. Right? I want to be in the moment, but I also wish I like the clarity of this moment. I'm right here right now. You know, I'm here. Mm-hmm. I see you. I'm thinking about what I'm saying. I'm listening and everything. I don't necessarily
but it's different.
need to be this comfortable, but I do wish, like, I don't know. I always felt like it was something out of my control, so I wanted to learn how to control it, I guess.
I disagree. I think it's freedom, and I think it means you're not concentrating on the words and hearing your voice, you're actually you're there. You're really there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's up to
Do
you.
you
You know
think
how
most comics disassociate?
I think some do. I think some do. I think some guys will tell you, they're like, I can hear my voice. Like I hear my voice,
Yeah.
right? And it
That was
bothers
me at
me.
the
I hear more.
beginning. It was
Yeah.
almost like
Okay.
I was behind me watching. And now I'm
Right.
at the point where I'm in me, but I'm still disassociated, but I at least have a little more like before, if I were to say something, I couldn't like think, oh wait, I gotta throw this in here. This word matters, you know? Because like a lot
Oh,
of times
interesting.
like a single word really actually fucking means a lot.
It does. It does. It's funny how a single word can change everything. Also, a comma can change everything, and like just a little bit
Little
of a
breath.
tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a tone can change everything. So you're right, but I think some you like you said, some guys are above themselves, watching themselves, and almost micromanaging what's going on.
Yeah.
And then other guys are just letting it happen, letting it be in the moment, and
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 you've been like that your
and
whole career.
hearing the mistakes, but changing it next time.
So you've been like that your whole career. You're not just joking.
No, yeah, my basically my whole career has just been like
So even
pat
right
myself.
now, because like that's so astonishing to me because you do it so much and you're the fucking thick of comedy. Like you are it. You travel all the time. When you're not traveling, you're working it, and even when you're traveling, you're working. But I mean, like it's everything. You do it so much. It's like
Yeah.
imagine a football player or Tom Brady being like, I disassociate while I'm playing football. Like to me, that,
But I honestly believe that they do. Like you know how Gretzky was he could see the game 4 steps ahead. I think that's what disassociation is. You see the game more, you see the bigger picture, and you're able to bring it in. So I think
oh,
that's how my comedy is.
you got to
So
talk to my psychiatrist because they're really
probably,
anti-association. It's not.
really, well, they're not going to ruin my fucking career. I'll tell you that much.
All right. While we're on the subject, bro, I wanted
Yeah.
to talk to a comedian about this for a very long time.
All right.
I'm not trying to be a dick.
Too late.
Damn it. It
How do
kind
I
of
say
drives
this?
me nuts. I don't know if I even want to start it that way. Dang it. Comedians are very often,
Mm-hmm.
they say they play an arena.
Oh, you said this before.
We
You've
had
said
this
this before.
conversation, but
Yeah,
not on
we've
the
had, yeah.
show, right?
Yeah, you've said this before, but it's you don't it's not play, it's perform,
Yeah.
right?
That's how I
Yeah.
feel. Just to separate it because like a musician plays their instruments. I don't think a singer like if you're Ozzy, Ozzy's band plays, Ozzy performs. Or like if a rapper shows up and just raps, doesn't turntable, no beatbox, nothing. I don't think it's playing. It seems pretentious hearing a comedian be like, "Oh, I played there," and it's like what you do is already really cool to me. To me, what you do
I'll
is
tell
like
I can tell you why.
I want to
Because
know.
it's kind of like it's not like play as an instrument, but play as in playtime.
Oh, that makes
Because
more sense because in my head I
because
was like, "What do they think that like that means you're playing the?" A lot of comedians will say you have to play the audience because yes, you have to bounce off reactions, especially your style. Like yours is the audience in a lot of not all of it, but a lot of your stuff is
oh,
really
it's conversation.
crowdful,
It's
you know?
conversation.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
and so it is it, but I wouldn't consider that playing
when
still.
when you say that, I take them as saying playing the audience isn't tricking them. I don't try to trick the audience. I try to make them part of the show. They become a character in my show. They become who they are bounces off of something that I have that bounces off something that somebody else has. So it's more. I don't play people. I talk with them. I like it. I,
Yeah,
I I feel there's a monologist and there's conversation, and I'm conversation. So, which is I don't
you are
think
the
either's wrong.
Yeah, I think you're the extreme end of the
I'm very extreme.
incorporating the crowd. So,
Yeah.
like, if anyone was to play the crowd, you would be that group. But I don't think if anyone's playing the crowd, then everyone's playing the crowd. The guy who's like standing on a soapbox, masturbating and picking his nose on the corner technically fits in that same group if people are reacting. You got to be really coordinated. Yeah.
Playing both ends of the banjo.
I'm going to Denver this week. I got to think about that stuff.
Got to think about that. I honestly think I think most comedians want to be musicians, so that's why they probably say play.
I agree with that too. I feel like it's always, everybody always wants to be someone else, you know, like musicians wish that they were movie stars wish they were fighters, and fighters wish they could get into movies, and it's like I just want to be skinny and like, I don't know.
We all want to be something. We all want to be somebody else. You going to Denver this week for the arm wrestling?
Arm wrestling this week, man. I am so pumped. I
tell everybody who you're arm wrestling.
I'm arm wrestling Eddie Hall, and we debated doing something with him, have him on here, but nobody wants that silly Englishman on here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Started up.
I'm excited.
Eddie Hall, I'm putting it out there. You probably don't want to be on Husky Boys. If you want to be on Husky Boys, you asked to be on Husky Boys, Eddie Hall. I'm telling you, Eddie Hall.
After I beat him, we should have him on here just to talk about it.
just to get him to make sure that he apologizes for everything he's ever seen. I love it.
I'm very confident too, because like Eddie was busy. He had he fought an MMA fight against one of the strongest men to ever live, Mariusz Pudzianowski, a Polish guy.
I didn't see that. How'd that go?
He won. It was a first round fat fest, sloppy, weird fight. It kind of reminded me of like a family reunion where like your uncle's like slapping somebody in the back of the head and his guts.
Politics got talked.
Yeah, exactly. So, but while he was doing that and getting his ab implants to look good, he was busy. So I don't think he was training. He was not training arm wrestling very often, I don't believe, because the thing is like, so like the first 3 months, my arm hurt so fucking bad. Like, it would just cramp all day. It would just hurt all day.
Yeah.
That's like 3 months of growth. I did that 4 or 5 months ago. He's doing it right now. I'm gonna rip his fucking arm off. I
love it. Here you heard it. You heard it right here on Husky Boys. Robert Oberst coming in there, gonna rip Eddie's arm off. It's gonna be fantastic. Afterwards, we're gonna have Eddie on just nothing but stomach implants and one arm. It's gonna be fantastic. Can't wait to see it. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I love it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Have you always arm wrestled? I watch these arm wrestling videos every so often, and it's always the tiny little guys that shock everybody, right?
There are some monster little dudes. The best arm wrestler right now is a big Georgian dude who's like his forearm's probably like a little bit bigger than mine, but he's only this tall.
It's like he's got a butt cheek on his arm, people.
It's growing too, man. It is growing. But
I look forward to it.
No, I never watched. I hate to disappoint. People hate when I talk like this, man. They hate the fact that I'm doing something, I'm good at it, and I don't like it. That really bothers people. It's bothered people my whole life.
That's funny. You know what that's like? That's like when the comedians are trying their hardest and a guy like you comes in and does well. That's exactly what it's like right there. That's
another example of it. It happens. Yeah. People get so mad about that. But the truth is like I'm just a big strong guy. I like communicating, entertaining. I like competition, you know, so life has just bounced me around and I ended up on an arm wrestling table. I'm sorry to say this again, but I don't.
You sure you're not Canadian with all this apologizing going on?
Sorry. But I really don't. I don't. Here's the truth. This is what I want to do. And I'm not going to say it anywhere else because I already told myself I wasn't going to tell anybody this. My only plan for this is to beat Eddie Hall this weekend. Beat Eddie Hall. Then call out Brian Shaw for next year. I want Brian Shaw to go against me at his show, his space, his hometown, all that stuff. A whole year from now, I want to destroy Brian and take this stupid sport away from him, and then I don't want to fucking do it again. I want to take it from him. That's all I want.
I love it. I love it. You know what's funny? You know what's funny about arm wrestling for me? I know this is gonna sound weird. I compare it to darts. It just takes place in a bar.
A bar, yeah.
It's like arm wrestling. It seems like everybody's gonna walk up with a cigarette and say, you know what, I'm gonna take you. I'll buy you a beer if I can beat you. But then guys turn it into a business. It's crazy.
It is. There's probably more money in arm wrestling. Arm wrestling and strongman
than you would expect, right?
About the same. Yeah, way more than you'd expect. Yeah.
It's great. I love it. So I'm on a family vacation right now. I'm in North Carolina. We're in the Outer Banks with my father-in-law, my two brother-in-laws,
Are you by
and
Charleston?
my sister-in-law. We're near Nags Head is where we are. So I don't know if you know where that is.
That's up north. By what's the Myrtle Beach is up there, right? Is that up by?
No, that's South Carolina. We're in North Carolina.
Okay. Sorry.
So when you were that's where you did Righteous Gemstones is down there, right?
Yeah. Right. And we went up to Myrtle Beach and stuff. I've been up there a few times. I don't know if I've done much of North Carolina. Is it pretty similar to South Carolina?
I don't know because I haven't done much in South Carolina. Like I don't think I've even been there before. But North Carolina and the beaches is crazy beautiful. It is crazy beautiful here. But we're all here and I was they're like, well, why can't you? They're all at the beach right now. Like, why can't you go to the beach? I gotta do the Husky Boys, right? And so like, what's the Husky Boys? Because we just started putting it out, and I told them, they're like, oh my God, we love the Righteous Gemstones, and oh my God.
Oh, that's nice.
But so the whole family's all like that. But it's funny. We have a niece that's 8 years old, and we were in the pool yesterday, and her dad throws her, and she lands by me, and she's gasping, and she grabs onto me onto my back, right, to keep herself above water, and she goes, oh my God, you've got a hairy back. 8-year-old kid just takes me down first day of vacation. I'm like, oh God.
Honesty, man. Kids are honest.
It's the best.
But that's why they are the best.
But you're taking the whole family. Yeah, where are you guys staying when you're taking, because you're taking the whole family to Denver, right?
Well, here's the show.
Uh-oh.
I always the 29 and younger me would just go off at the mouth right now. He would. But the 40-year-old me is just going to say, it hasn't been the easiest setting up travel, getting everything set, getting all the time. Like, a lot of things haven't gotten put together. And because of that, it looks like I'm going to go by myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I am bummed. I'm a little pissed, honestly. And but it's all good. It is what it is. That's traveling and competition. My son's football team starts this week. So he had already decided he was so sweet. He's 9. He's never played football. He's only played soccer, and he's got the biggest freaking heart in the world. He's a very sensitive boy. He's very sweet. And he came up to me. He's, Dad,
he's just like his papa.
He goes, Dad, I really want to support you and be there for you, but I feel like I'm letting down the team, and I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to let down the team. And I was like, Bud, like, you're not letting me down at all. I understand that you've got a commitment and your team needs you, and you want to work and get better and make sure that they can rely on you, all that stuff. I was like, that's totally good. So he was like red eyes, like, I'm sorry, I don't want to go,
That's so funny.
And I was like, don't worry, buddy, it's all good. So,
but then the other side of you came out and you said, look, kid, if I lose, it's probably on your back. Go ahead, enjoy football.
I'm gonna go get a pack of cigarettes.
From Nova Scotia. See you in 10 years.
Yeah, so the
I
kids
love it.
they're all busy and stuff, so it's not that big.
Fair enough.
I'm bummed. I wanted to bring Megan. Megan really wanted to go, and so that does suck.
It
But
happens.
since you
It
delayed our
happens. It
wedding
happens.
until I can get down to Texas and talk to her father, I might take I might take this trip and bounce down there and do my
ask for permission.
my penance.
Yeah. Ask for permission. You gotta make sure that you have the blessings. Is what it is. Well, let's get to our guest today, Steve Simeone. He's waiting in the wings, so we'll take a little break and then we'll be right back with Steve Simeone. Our guest today, I met many years ago. I'm pretty sure at the store where he was. If you put pillars together, he was a pillar of the store. And now he's just a fantastic guy. That's the big thing that I always hear about you. Just one of the best guys ever. Please welcome Steve Simeone.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Nice. Dude, it's just really good to see both of you guys. Like, just to see you guys, it's awesome.
How weird is it that we ended up like doing this together, and then we're like coming up with lists of people and stuff to get on here and people to talk to, and we're both like, "Oh yeah, we love Steve," you know?
Dude, awesome. How did you guys become buddies?
Well, it's a weird story.
Cult that we were a part of that kicked us out. It was not enough sodomy, too much sodomy, never the right amount of sodomy. Yeah.
What's the right amount of sodomy?
We're like the three golden bears of sodomy. We're trying to find out which one's right.
I seen Robert on Righteous Gemstones, and I just sent him a message. I just said, "Dude, you're hilarious." And he responded, he goes, "Oh, you can show up in my feed on my Instagram all the time." And we started talking from there.
I hate Canadians.
Yeah. He actually sent Robert back. He sent back, "Are you trying to fuck me?" That's what he said.
Literally, that is what I said. That's the first message I ever sent Ian.
I was like, "Oh my God, this guy knows."
It's funny. I'm a big, intimidating looking person. So like, if I can throw out something at the beginning to check like how uncomfortable you get, it makes it a lot easier, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve, you're in Florida and stuff, and I wanted to talk to you about it. Is like right now, you were saying that you're in between Tampa and Orlando in no man's land, which is crazy. How long have you been out there?
Dude, almost 5 years. I don't know what's happening at the time, but it seems like the COVID lockdown was last week. But dude, it was 5 years ago.
Crazy.
Oh, jumps.
Yeah.
Do you like living there?
Yeah.
I love it. It's just easier, dude. It's just easier than being in LA. It's so much cheaper. The people are nicer. And like, there's no traffic. Like, it's just, and plus it's safe. Like, dude, I moved here because of the sheriff. That's why I moved here. He does pro wrestling promos on bad guys. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. He actually holds up pictures of bad guys, and he tells you what's going to happen when he catches you. So it's just easier for everybody if you turn yourself in.
Was he the one that was like, "Yeah, if you come out here, we'll shoot you"? He was the one that like, "We got guns."
Yeah, he was like, no lie, he was like, "In Polk County, we respect the Second Amendment. Over 90% of homeowners are gun owners. So if you break into somebody's home, they have my permission to shoot you graveyard dead." Because, dude, I was in LA during COVID, and I had two buddies. I was so bad at jujitsu, but I was still going. Like, I don't even know how to tie my belt still. But there was a couple, like, I was taking daytime classes. And for people out there that don't realize, people that do jujitsu during the day, like for their day job, are essentially assassins. It was all like bodyguards,
that's really
tier one operators. And then there were two different LAPD officers. And during the lockdown, they both sort of pulled me to the side, and they were like, "Bro, we can't keep
You're
you
really.
safe, and we know you can't keep yourself safe."
That's
They were
funny.
like,
They had to talk with you because they watched your jujitsu and they go, bro,
"Yeah, seriously, like it sounds like
you
a
got to
joke,
go
but
someplace safer.
you were like, dude, we can't protect you anymore."
See, that's how nice of a guy Steve is. And a lot of people won't get told, hey, good chance you're gonna die. But they
Yeah,
told Steve, you got to get out of here right
the
now.
world needs you. You're a kind man. We need you.
They submit him by yelling at him.
Are you still down at the beach, Ian? I remember going to your house. It was so nice, dude. You were like right on the beach.
Well, I moved 12 blocks away from there, and my wife says I took her away from the beach. So, yes,
Well,
we're not right on the beach. It's so bizarre. We're like 6 blocks from the beach, and not living on the beach does feels like I might as well be in the 909. It's crazy.
that is weird.
So,
It's up another 10, 20 degrees right there too.
oh yeah.
It's like-
Are you still traveling a lot?
More than I want to. Yeah, like
Really?
yeah. I mean, we have the greatest job in the world, right? Like it's
Mhm.
such a blessing to be able to pay your bills telling jokes. Like it's especially now when I'm surrounded by normal people that aren't in show business, and they ask me what I do, and I'm like, I'm a comedian, and then they laugh, and then they're like, what do you really do? And I'm like, I'm a comedian. Like they don't realize that there's middle class comedians out there. You know, they think
That's funny.
you're either an open micer or Dave Chappelle. And I'm like, dude, somehow every month with God's grace, I'm paying my bills doing this. But I moved my parents in. So I'm sort of taking care of my parents. They're taking care of me. And it's like,
Oh, nice.
dude, it's so awesome that I hate to leave. Like when I was in Hollywood, I loved going on the road and being around normal people. I loved it. And then I'd get recharged at the Comedy Store. That was amazing. It was a great life, but it was all comedy centric. Now that like I get to watch baseball games with my dad and stuff, I'm like, this is all I want to do. I just want to hang out and eat ice cream and hang out.
Are you an only child?
No, I'm the middle child. And both my brothers are still in Philly. So I'm the
So
lucky
you're basic. So you're kind of a caretaker, which makes you the best child. You're like, I have a sister
we
that's
all
a
know who's the
caretaker,
favorite.
and yeah. What's that?
I said we all
What'd you
know
s-
I'm the favorite now.
Well, yeah, exactly. So but that's fantastic that you're doing that. Like a lot of people don't talk about how great that is. Like it's so you're so lucky. You're so lucky
So
that you get to spend that time with your parents when you're at an age where you understand them now and they're getting
100%.
older. And the
Like,
weird part is probably that your parents they used to be your superheroes, right? And they're no longer you are kind of become their superhero. You know what I mean? So it's a really interesting time. So you should be really proud of yourself.
dude, it's just a blessing. I can't tell you. It's just God set it up. But I remember like 2 years ago, my dad and I, because you know, you live with people, you can't sometimes get into arguments, and it was over something stupid like a hacky stand-up. I think it was actually over the temperature in the house, something that ridiculous.
That's
And I
hilarious.
my dad was like angry, and I go, Dad, I don't care. And he was like, no. And I go, Dad, you don't realize I'm finally old enough to realize everything you guys did for me. I'm old enough to appreciate it. So you could do whatever you want. You could go poop on the floor. I'll clean it. I don't care. And he looked at me. I go, this is my way of saying thank you. Please just let me say thank you. I'm sorry we got. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really, dude. And it's a blessing. I wish I tell all my buddies, like, dude, you're check in with your parents more. Like they need us, you know?
Yeah.
We forget
Yeah.
that.
Now, how
Who
do we
you
get you and
get
Robert to
more
do a show
credit?
together?
Like, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say on the subject, like, who do you think's getting more credit? Like, my sister who moved my mom into the garage,
Yes.
me who pays the bills.
No.
dude.
Damn it!
No.
Damn it!
Trust me, I know. They think, Robert, they think you're sending money to change things. They don't know that you're sending money to keep everything well. They think that you're just trying to change things on them. That's what's going on.
Dang it! Well, I thought I was the favorite up until this moment.
No way in hell. I love it. You and Robert need to do a television show where you guys solve crimes because Steve, you're like 5'9", right?
No, I wish.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how Instagram knows I'm short, but in all my ads, it's like, put these lifts in your shoes and get chicks.
That's
Like,
really funny.
how do they know I'm short?
I saw shoes came out the other day, 3-inch lift, and they look like normal shoes. You can't even tell.
Right. I'll tell you
Why
what.
would I get this? Why I don't want to be 7 feet tall. Like I don't want this.
Steve gets them because he lives in Florida, and Ronnie DeSantis wears those weird boots that have the lift in
Oh,
them.
right. Those like old school pigeon-toed weird boots he had. Yeah. Like the wooden clogs my mom keeps.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so bizarre. I love it.
Yeah, me and Steve actually did work on some stuff. We wrote a couple things. Steve, I had this thing in my head a long time about I was a bouncer. We've talked a little bit about my bouncing stories. And it was just a crazy time. Steve was a bouncer for a while. Steve is a smaller guy, but it's crazy is like him and I have had the same jobs. Like worked at a gym and bounced and did security. And what's funny is you always got to worry about the guys that look like Steve. Steve's not the guy you got to worry about because he's nice and terrible at jiu-jitsu, according to him. But in real life, if you're at a bar and there's a guy like me standing there and my partner looks like Steve, watch out for Steve. Like, watch out for that little guy. That guy will mess you up. But
dude, I have a buddy of mine who's awesome. Who was a SAS commando, like legit real life GI Joe, and he bodyguards billionaires. That's what he does now. And he told me years ago, he said, if a guy's bodyguard is little, be careful. And he was like, if the guy's bodyguard is old, be extra careful. And he goes, and if the guy's bodyguard is old and not big, just avoid the situation completely.
yeah,
That's really funny. That's really funny.
Told, Robert, the only place I ever did security was at the Comedy Store, because before somebody got shot there, they would make the comedians be the door guys. And more dangerous than professional security, because on any given night there was 40 people there that knew their dreams were never going to happen and they had nothing to lose.
That's funny.
Bro, huge brawl after September 11th. It was one of the most chaotic things I've ever witnessed. A street gang, Crips were in there, and they got into a fight when Eddie Griffin was on stage. And it was a
what? Violence during Eddie Griffin? Never.
Oh, dude. I was the manager that night. I had to call that, turn on the house lights, dial 911, and it was like out of a movie. People were swinging chairs, tables were getting knocked over. I
went to a Funny Bone one time in Hartford, and they were getting new chairs because Eddie had been in the week before, and a fight had broken out.
Oh man, Eddie Griffin is the man. He finally he was in a new movie. I saw him. I haven't seen him in anything in forever. But there's a movie. I watch all the new stuff when it comes out. But there was something that he just was in recently, and I think it's the first time he's been in a movie in like 10, 15, maybe 20 years. So he's back around now. I would expect he's going to do like actually touring and stuff.
Dude, for like 3 months, that guy was my best friend. When I was managing the Comedy Store, he would come in super early, like 5 o'clock at night, and just hang out with me in the manager's office. And he actually gave me, Ian, the best piece of advice I've ever heard on stand-up comedy, because he got it from Richard Pryor. And Eddie's smoking cigarettes, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something. This comes straight from the mountaintop. Richard himself. I'm like, Richard Pryor? Because Richard was a Comedy Store guy. And when Eddie was a young comic, Richard would watch him. And he was impressed with him as a young comic and invited him up to his house and was like, Eddie, you're funny, but you're not going to be great until you lose your comic ears. And Eddie's like, I look at Richard and I'm like, comic ears? He goes, your comic ears. He goes, you say something and then you're listening for the laugh. He goes, you got to lose that. He goes, don't say it because you think it's funny and it's going to get a laugh. Say it because you mean it. And I went, that's next level comedy.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
That's great. That's
So
great.
always be grateful to that dude.
And I think the question is, when are you gonna lose those ears?
I don't know, dude. It's so funny. Like if one of my jokes has laugh, I'm like, hey guys, you ever do this? I'm like,
It's
so desperate for love. Hey everybody.
Richard, that's great for you to say, but I'm not on cocaine.
I remember my first time at Steve took me to the Comedy Store. We were hanging around and everything. And I sat down on the stairs in the back, and I was sitting there, and Steve grabs his phone and he goes, look at this. Look at the step you're sitting on, and look at this photo. And it was a picture of Richard Pryor sitting on that step rolling up a joint. And I was like, oh my, I get goosebumps talking about it. He was my favorite growing up. As a kid, that was like my introduction to comedy. Watching him be honest about lighting himself on fire and showing the match and making the joke. And I was like, oh, like, I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to be comfortable with myself like that, you know?
Amazing.
I don't think there's a place you can touch in that building without knowing that like the funniest people in the world have touched the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like the funniest, the absolute funniest.
Like I was just so fortunate and blessed to have the journey I've had, you know. And one of my many jobs at the Comedy Store was I was actually a caretaker for the owner, Mitzi Shore. And I had the pleasure, I guess in hindsight, it was maybe her last night at the club, like really being able to hang out and watch the show. So like I picked her up in the Comedy Store van at her house, brought her down to the store on a Saturday night. We sat in her booth. And like her legs would get tired and stuff, and she wanted me to walk her. And then the steps going up to the belly room, the steps by the main room, the indoor steps to the belly room. He had me sit. I think it was like the fourth step up, Robert. And as we're talking, she goes, you know why I brought you here? And I'm like, and she goes, this is where Richard used to hide. I go, what? She said, Richard Pryor was so popular and everybody wanted a piece from him that they would the angles on that. So like if the main room was closed, you look down that hallway, main room's closed, or sometimes people would even go poke their head into the back door of the main room. He's not in there. They would do a loop around the bar. He wasn't there and he wasn't in the original room. So he would hide on that step and just hang out with Mitzi and sort of like recharge. Because according to Mitzi and Paulie has great Richard Pryor stories about just what a kind, sweet, gentle soul he was. And he was like, there was nobody like him. Like he just really loved people. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. Comfortable with himself. And if you look at his other stuff, like we only get as like a generic fan, you only get his specials and stuff, and you would know a little bit about him, which is a lot because he talks about himself a lot. But if you're a real fan and you go diving, he got into some crazy stuff on stage, talking about how he banged out a guy so much the guy fell in love with him, and he's like, now don't do that with guys because they'll fall in love with you, stuff like that. So like he was one of these guys that it didn't matter if it was taboo or if people were going to judge him or whatever. He was a flawed person and he would just share it. It was to me like that's super strength. I love Richard.
Yeah, I remember. Go ahead, Ian.
No, you tell your story, but I would like to talk about that point afterwards.
Well, I took a comedy writing class years ago, like how to write comedy movies, and the guy was like a real screenwriter and story consultant for all the studios. He was a comedy writer, but he had a real passion for stand-up comedy, and he was a nerd. He was what I'm looking for, like very academic in his approach to comedy. And he had his academic definition of because when he found out I was a stand-up and at the Comedy Store, he was just talking to me and all the other nerds in the class were getting mad. But his definition that he teaches in like college courses on what is a stand-up comedian, his definition of a stand-up comic was a human being with the courage to stand up in front of a room full of strangers and admit to being human. And I think that's what you're talking about, Robert. That's what made Richard so special.
Yeah, that's how it feels for sure for me.
I also believe he was in a time that social media wouldn't have killed him.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that one I was just talking about making a guy fall in love with him. Yeah, if there were cameras and that would have got out, most likely, because he was young in that. That's got to be 70s Richard Pryor, not even 80s, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty interesting with stand-up. I talk about it a lot is and social media. The problem is to find the best humor, you have to go over the edge.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have to come back to the edge. And so social media doesn't let us go over the edge and find that mistake and come back.
Yes.
And that's the problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is everybody thinks their point of view is the only point of view.
Right.
Like, just because I don't think it's funny doesn't mean there's not an audience for that. And I remember,
right. And the audience is the judge and jury. They're right there. They let
Right.
you know. We don't need you at home that you weren't there. We got them right there. They let us know.
and
So
there's
you're saying free Kramer. That's your point. Free Kramer.
Free Kramer. Yeah.
They were laughing. They were laughing.
That wasn't booing. They thought his name was Stu.
The difference between the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store was when that scandal erupted, everybody was like, if that happened at the Comedy Store, no fallout.
Would have never known.
No one would have known. Yeah.
Nobody would have known. Yeah. If you notice, and you know, I probably shouldn't say there's one club in town where all the problems begin. Right?
Yeah.
So you know, it's and why is that? Because maybe it sells tickets for them. I don't know why it is, but they all start there. So yeah, but at the same time, social media has given guys like me another audience, right? It helps us find an audience. So it gets rid of the gatekeepers, but you have to figure out the balance of what I put out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other problem is with social media is sometimes we don't get the choice of what went out. Somebody records it and they put it out, and that's what affects us, right? So yeah. Anyways,
it's opened up. Like guys like you, though, the nice thing is like you said, the judge and jury sitting right there and has always agreed with you. But in mass, it was either like for a long time, comics would be like, oh, he's a crowd work comic or whatever. But then you realize like you're in the job of entertainment. You have to stand there for an hour with just you and your words. And what really matters is how much enjoyment did the people derive from your time there. If you're up there and the people really get like an A+ show and everyone's like, huh, did you hear the thing he said about Uncle Bill's shirt? And then like the week later, they're still talking about it. How is that not like top tier entertainment, you know? But so like nowadays you actually get the credit that should have been before as well. It's just, it took social media to see that people like it.
It's in strongman competition. I'm sure there's a little bit of different way guys are able to lift things. Like everybody has their own style, right? Mm. Where for a long time stand-up was you do it this way or it's wrong. Yeah. And that really is not, the guys that would break out every so often were a little bit different, just a little bit different. And now you're seeing like big chunks of different, like these guys that do some of these sketches and stuff, like, and some people don't even do stand-up and they're the funniest people in the world. I follow a guy from Iraq that just runs around saving dogs, and he's the funniest person I've ever seen in my life.
In Iraq?
In Iraq. He
saves dogs in Iraq and it's funny?
Yeah. Oh, it's hysterical. I remember he was doing some video and something blew up and he goes, "Oh God, the Americans are back," and runs off. You know? We'll find it and I'll put up his social media. He's got like 5 million followers, but he's the funniest guy. He's the funniest guy ever, and he'll never be on. I don't know if he'll ever be on stage or make a dollar from doing stand up, but you know, he's the funniest guy. So yeah,
that's hilarious.
There's bits and pieces of social media that I absolutely love. And there's bits and pieces that I don't like, but I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and since we're on it, we talked earlier about how everybody loves Steve. Everybody's got a bunch of nice things to say about Steve.
Here it comes.
Steve doesn't talk bad about people. So we want to know, Steve, what's a comedian that just rubs you the wrong way?
I don't know.
Or not even. Let's change it. Let's change it a little bit, Robert. Who have you had beef?
Don't give
with?
him an out.
No, who have you had beef with?
I haven't had beef with anybody.
You must have had beef.
Didn't you and Bobby get weird for a bit and then get cool? Like everybody. Did you and Bobby get weird?
Oh, I remember years ago, Ari Shaffir got married at the Comedy Store. That's a real story. And I was like a groomsman and a witness. Mike Black, the comedian, actually married them. I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought it was like a hidden camera thing or something. And I remember Ari telling me he got married in the belly room. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I mean, I guess he's talked about it.
It's happening.
But
no.
He was like, if Ari was like, if Bobby shows up, he's not allowed in. I'm like, what? And he goes, he's not allowed in. And then Bobby did show up, and I was like, I'm sorry, Bobby, but you're not on the list. And he was like, what? I go, dude, I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
So you had to tell him no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was this before or after they had the little tussle?
It's all a blur. It was probably after. The craziest thing is, like, people will, like, because comedy's getting so popular now and there's so many podcasts. Like, I'll like normal friends be like, dude, you were at the Comedy Store when this happens. I'm like, I was? I don't even remember some of this stuff.
That's really funny. Your parents are caretaking you because you've lost your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't. And then truthfully, I think, like, I used to think I was really naive and I would beat myself up for it. But now that, like, I'm middle-aged and I go, what a blessing it is to see the best in people. Like, I used to be like, how did I not know that? Or wait, was that guy just making fun of me? But I don't, dude, life's so short. I just want the best for everybody.
I think that was my steepest learning curve when I moved to LA, was going through the Mean Girls, like, introductory class of, like, how they insult you like Mean Girls. And I have 100 stories popping into my head, but, like, I remember being, like, at a party and, like, at the end of the party realizing, like, this guy just fucking punked me in front of these people for like 20 minutes. And I like didn't do anything. And it's like, it still eats me up to this day. How, like,
and you didn't clue in. You're like, huh. I know what you're talking about. That's really funny.
It's so frustrating too. As someone, like, I'm sure both of you guys know this, like, have the same thing happen. I was a kid, I got bullied. So, like, I really have this inner voice that's like, speak. You have to say, like, even if you sound stupid defending yourself, that's better than feeling like somebody punked you. Like, I don't want to feel dominated ever again. And so, like, at that party, or there's other ideas, I think, Steve, you were at that party actually, but at that party, like, I just remember.
You were at a party?
Well,
poor Steve doesn't even remember what a party.
The one I'm thinking about, you said you wanted to spit on the guy that I felt weird about.
Where was this?
I don't know how much you want me to say about it. It was somebody's.
Say it. We'll cut it out.
Yeah, it was somebody's birthday party. It was Elijah Schlesinger's birthday party.
Where was it?
She had a birthday? I didn't think girls aged.
Downtown somewhere like that. And we went to this thing, and this guy was like, bro, how much you squat press? Do you back squat, bro? And it didn't click to me, like, he was trying to make fun of the bro culture or whatever. But to me, I thought he was being legit. So I was just kind of like, cool. Like, like, asking me how much, like, he said squat press and what's your back squat. And he was like really flexing up on me.
That was
he a big, was he a big boy, or was he like a small guy? Yeah.
Small, extremely wealthy, very handsome. He was wearing the most expensive ripped clothes I probably have ever seen. He had, like, a really nice car. He looked like what was the blonde guy in Saved by the Bell? He looked like that.
We got to find this guy and kill him.
Dude, that's what I don't miss.
Steve was never upset. I spent a lot of time with Steve, and Steve was always considerate and turn the other cheek, and oh well, maybe they're having a bad day. And I'm talking about like months and months and months of LA attitude, and Steve's like, nope, that's not. Don't let it affect you. On the drive home from that party, he goes, I want to spit in that guy's face. I've never heard him say that.
That's funny.
Well, dude, I'll tell you guys a story about when I knew, this was before COVID, but I knew my time. See, Ian, you're down in the South Bay, right? Way cooler.
Yeah.
I was in the heart of the beast, right? Like I went from Hollywood. Santa Monica was kind of cool when I was there, but then I spent 8 years in Sherman Oaks. And when I first moved to Sherman Oaks, it was awesome. But then there's just that douchey, show busy, entitled energy. And I remember going, all right, God, if this is where you want me to be, I'll be on the front lines of this battle. And after a while, it started to wear down on me. Like I would say good morning to people and they would just look through me, or I would hold doors open for people and they wouldn't acknowledge me.
I always say you're welcome no matter what.
Dude,
I say thank you when people close the door.
Ian, do you know that comedian? That's funny. Do you know that comedian Luis Rivera? He's in a wheelchair.
No.
Anyway, my buddy Luis, dude, the hardest life out of anybody I've ever encountered. He was born with cerebral palsy. So he was in a wheelchair his whole life. Didn't speak until he was 8 years old.
And he's Mexican.
Right into stand-up.
Damn.
Oh, he didn't speak. His first word wasn't a word. It was a Hulk Hogan promo. He was 8 years old. His mom didn't think he could talk. And he was like, what you going to do when Hulkamania runs wild on you, Mom? And she was like, oh, my God. So Luis.
We've got a racist in the house.
Luis, hey, that man's dead. Don't besmirch a dead racist name.
Dude, people drive me crazy. And so then Luis gets hit by a drunk driver in his wheelchair. He was crossing the street.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So then he got paralyzed on top of the cerebral palsy.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, the story gets worse. So Luis and I, for a while there, we'd go to the movies like once a month, and we were at the ArcLight in Sherman Oaks at the Galleria. And I never knew.
I used to live beneath it.
Yeah, dude, that is a portal to douchebags, that place. So the handicap doors. Like you press the button and the two doors open up. And like when you're not handicapped, you don't even think of things like that. The button wasn't working. Luis's wheelchair is so big that you can't get him through one door. He needs both doors to open. So I'm trying to hold the one door for Luis. I'm doing this thing to try to get, Luis is trying to get under my arm. And dude, multiple people saw what was going on, did not help us. Two guys actually did this, like those douchebag party people. The guys looks at us struggling with the door and goes, and opened the door next to us. So then I was so pissed. And I go, Luis, how often does that happen? And he looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, every day. I go, every day somebody doesn't help you? And he goes, every day. Like I grew up in Philly. The people there are cut from a different cloth. But you could have a drug dealer in the middle of a shootout would see somebody like Luis and they would hold the door open for him and get back to blast. Just a different culture.
The thing about Los Angeles and Hollywood. I used to live in West Hollywood, and I figured out a long time. It's a company town, right? And the company is self-centered.
Yes,
right. That's like they're all there for themselves, right?
Yep.
They've moved, they've left wherever, and they're headed to Hollywood to become a star, which is about yourself. And that's as soon as I realized that, I was like, I found the beauty in the city. Right. So I just because I'm there too. I'm in the company town for a reason, but I'm going to be me no matter what. Right. So and the thing is, you've had a bunch of people that are themselves too, but they're all very self-centered people. But you are right about being in the South Bay in Long Beach. I'm out of the company town. I'm kind of near the company town, but I'm in another thing where other things happen. So yeah, it's
cool.
crazy. My wife is a occupational therapist, and when I first met her, the reason I met her was because somebody asked her what she did, and she said, I work with special needs kids, and they stopped talking to her because she wasn't in show business. Right?
All right, so I got a good story.
That's LA in a nutshell.
So, dude, one of my many day jobs through the years in Los Angeles was I worked at a place called the Hollywood Gym, which is literally it's on La Brea between Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard. And I worked.
Was it next to like a strip club?
Might have been. No. Well, it was on this. There was so many strip clubs there, but it's a big. At the time, I don't know.
To orient Ian, you have to place it next to us. It is within 300 miles of this strip club.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite of a sex offender. I have to be within 300 feet.
Yeah, that sounds like the opposite.
So there was,
I know, really, when you think about it, is that the opposite?
Dude,
pre-conviction.
I worked graveyard shift at this place. So from
the 24-hour place.
Yeah, it's from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And dude,
oh my God.
Like when I talk about being naive, like I just started to piece. It's 20 years later, and I just started to piece it together. I'm like, I think that guy might have been operating outside the legal limits of what's acceptable in society. Like the people that would come into the gym and kick a bag, because it was a boxing gym too. There were guys like in custom suits that at 3 o'clock in the morning would go kick a bag and stuff. And I remember I wasn't supposed to let anybody in after like 11 o'clock that wasn't a member, and I was supposed to lock the door. But there was a guy that was like not as big as Robert, but at the time, probably the biggest human being I've ever seen. And he knocked on the glass once, and he wasn't a member, and he just wanted pre-workout drinks. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would buy 3 pre-workouts. But for whatever, maybe because I was bored or whatever, I let him in, buy his drinks, place him on the
figure this out,
and just leave. And that happened for like 6 months, maybe a year. We never talked. And then one day he comes in, I let him in. He goes, "Are you allowed to let me in?" I go, "What do you mean?" Because I was on the road a bunch. And when I was on the road, somebody didn't let him even buy a drink. I go, "Oh, yeah, that's the real policy, but you seem like a good guy or whatever." And he was like, "Hey, man, thank you." And I'm like, "No worries." So the next time he comes in, we start to make small talk. And then like a year later, that guy's sitting at the desk next to me in the middle of the night. And we're just bullshitting for hours. And after about, I don't know, another year of that, so I've seen this guy in passing for like 2 years. We're sitting at the desk, and he goes, "You know what I like about you, Steve?" He goes,
"You don't mind that I kill people."
He goes like this. He goes, "Never once have you asked me what I do for a living." I go, "Yeah, who cares?
I'm not a crowd work guy."
Yeah, I don't. My brain's not that fast. Then you say, and I say. He goes, "Haven't you noticed?"
Someone in here's got to work with sushi, right? I got a great sushi joke.
I had a buddy, Shinji Hamada, I did open mics with. He was the best. We both loved Van Halen. He was from Japan, and I had no idea he was one of the top sushi chefs in Los Angeles. He would bring his knives with him. They were so expensive. He was Shinji. If you're listening over there in Japan, your old buddy Steve says hi. Anyway, this dude, he was like, "Haven't you noticed that in LA, as soon as you meet somebody right away, they ask you what you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I never understood that." Because like in Philly, like you would meet friends of friends, you'd watch Eagles games together. You might know guys for years and not even know who cares.
Right.
And
in Philly, you ask who they root for. Who do you root for?
You got a Birds jersey on? All right, we're friends.
Yeah.
And he was like, he laughed. He goes, "You don't know why people ask that?" And I go, "No." And he laughed and he goes, "You really are a nice guy." I'm like, "Yeah, who cares?" He goes, "They ask that in LA because they want to know if you're worth their time, if they can get something from you." And I'm like,
if they can get something from you. Yeah.
I go, what a terrible way to live. And then we start
It's more.
Go ahead.
It's more West Hollywood than and yeah, that kind of area. There's areas of LA that it's like that. That's why they're asking you. That yeah,
Yeah.
they
And I
want.
just
Are you my stepping stone? That's
perfect.
what they're asking you.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. Sorry.
So then he went like this, and then we start talking, and he goes, "Well, aren't you curious?" I'm like, "Curious about what?" He goes, "Aren't you curious about what I do for a living?" And I go, "Oh." And he goes, "Steve, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm working right now." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "I'm 911 for escorts." I go, "What?" He was like, "We have so many girls working this area with all the hotels. We have apartments all over." He goes, "When a working girl gets in trouble, she can't call the police. So she calls me." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I was like, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna get robbed for sure. Guy,
Dude,
guy
that's
just
my-
gets you to trust. Guy gets you to trust him for 6 months and then steals the $40 out
Dude,
of your
the
till.
best move ever with that. Remember how I said I had a buddy that was an SAS commando? Was another dude I met at the gym. So when he was out driving people around, sometimes he'd drop them off at dinner or something, and then he'd come hang out with me. And I remember one night he's wearing a suit, right? And I forgot to lock the door. And it's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. And a group of dudes comes into the gym. And they're like, "Can we get a tour?" And I'm like, "I can't really give you a tour." They had all these questions. They were up to no good, but I'm being so naive. I'm
Right,
in,
right.
right?
You're being Steve.
Yeah. So my buddy Ian, it's one of the most gangster things I've ever seen. So they're kind of being jerks. And Ian just sort of unbuckles, like undoes his suit, right? So now the coat's open a little bit. And he's just standing next to me or whatever. And the gang leader dude is there. And Ian was like, "Hey Steve, when do you start selling these?" And when he goes to reach to grab it, his suit jacket comes open just enough so you can see the 9mm. And
That's
the
funny.
gang leader's eyes went like this. And he got all of his buddies and got out. And I was like, "Talking about my pimp juice." I was like, "I think you just saved my life, dude."
I was thought you were going to say, and I didn't even realize. I just thought he wondered when we started selling muscle milk.
Yeah, exactly. At first, I was like, "We've always had muscle milk."
And
Why
that
do you even
guy
ask
is
that?
probably that job specifically for security, that's like the most in control you got to be. Like that's, you're working in an area where you don't want to draw attention, but if you're called into that, I accidentally did it for a summer, but if you're called into helping out with something, you have to be like the wolf in
Pulp Fiction.
yes, in
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. You've got to be that guy where you're like that guy did, where he showed his piece very nonchalant. That's like exactly who you have to be, or like those guys, they don't last very long anyways, but that is a very scary job.
Yeah, it's all about trying to just de-escalate with a little bit of power, right?
Yep. I've
Yeah.
known a lot of guys who didn't de-escalate too, though. I knew guys who were very into like, "Oh, it's my chance. I get to fuck somebody up." And most of those guys are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good. It's not good. Love it.
None.
Where are you playing next, Steve? What you got coming up and stuff?
Dude, I'm doing cruises in Alaska.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
I sort of stumbled into that job through Jimmy Schubert. And it's like, I love old people. So it's like my favorite, they're my favorite people. And I know a lot of comics don't like cruises, but dude, I love it. I love the shows. I don't like being on a cruise, but I love the shows. It's like pretty much old people. And now that I live in Florida, all my friends are at least 75. So that's my
That's
demo.
really funny. That's funny.
You get to hang out at the pool and stuff during the day. It's like
it's
kicking
Alaska, Robert. There's no pool. There's an ice rink.
but it's on a cruise ship, so it's probably got a saltwater.
I was just being a dick. I was just being a dick.
Hey, when did you start selling that?
Background.
Do you hang out at the pool?
Dude, in Florida,
On the cruise.
I don't do it. I sleep. I catch up on my sleep. That's what I do. I sleep.
Is it like a hotel where like you can bring an Xbox, but it doesn't connect to the TV?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it!
Yes.
That's awesome. When you go by Ketchikan, that's where I grew up around there. Ketchikan. When you
I'm going to be there, dude. Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah. So Prince Rupert Terrace is just down from Ketchikan. That's where I grew up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So say hi to everybody. Tell them that Ian Bagg says hi, and they'll say, "Is that queer in Hollywood?"
Such a
Baggett. We call them Baggets.
Baggets. I love it. That's great that you're doing those. I love it, and I love that you're down there in Florida with your family and writing with Robert. And he tells me you guys got something you're trying to get done, and I love it. You should write a book too, by the way. You should write a book, My Time at the Comedy Store.
You know what? After we started to develop Robert's show about bouncers, it was so much fun. Because like most of the stuff I write is just like out of nowhere, on spec. It's just my idea. Let's make something funny. But to take a real story and bring it to life was a different kind of challenge, and it was so much fun. Like, Robert, that pilot we wrote is awesome. That thing is, and it got me thinking, like, I would love to write a TV show about my years at the Comedy Store when the Comedy Store was dead. Like, from 2000,
really funny.
September of 2000, all the way up through Joe Rogan coming back. Like, dude, there were at least 6 really extra dark years at the Comedy Store where there was no audience. There were nights where there was literally nobody.
That's my chosen boy.
That's funny.
That's why I don't do clubs.
I got passed by Mitzi. I think around, she died in what, 2005 or something?
No, she passed 2018.
2000. Jesus, I'm way off. Okay, so I got passed by, what's that?
She stopped coming to the club around 2005.
Okay, I was one of the last people she passed, right? So
That's cool.
That's amazing.
But I got passed, did 2 shows there, and said, I'm not fucking working here. Right. I'm just like, it was so bad at that time. I was just like, there's no point. And there was a dark aura around that place. I'm just like, this place is mean as shit. And then all of a sudden,
I can't believe that's my home. Like,
right.
I don't know. That's a part of the reason why I believe in God. I'm like, how did I'll hear, like I said, people tell me stories on podcasts, and it'll be about nights I was at the Comedy Store, and I'm like, they were doing drugs. Like,
that's so funny. That's so funny. I disappeared, and then all of a sudden it got good, and I didn't feel right about going back because it got good. I felt like it was a poser if I went back, so I didn't go back until 2021. That's when I went back, when Eleanor, she's like, why aren't you working there? And I was just like, and she's like, you get back there now. I felt so uncomfortable. I parked down the street for about a year. I wouldn't even go into the parking lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but
that was when I was going in too. Steve was having me in there. We were in there twice a week through, it was 2016 to 18, 2018 to 16, something like that. Like, it was the beginning of the transformation back to what it became again now. And it was like, I remember at the beginning, I was like, man, this is like, no offense, but it's like, it wasn't fun because the comedians were so mean, and like all of them, it felt like a bunch of ravenous dogs that didn't have enough to eat. And they were all in the back just being mean. And me and Steve have a very similar way of
very Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, it was Lord of the Flies.
Yeah,
and
very
Steve
Lord of
and
the
I
Flies.
aren't like that. Ian's not like that, so I'm assuming you would have been just as uncomfortable. But like, I just remember being like, man, are all comedians like this? Like, this is really uncomfortable.
Well, I remember your first time doing stand-up in the Belly Room. Did you ever get that video?
I do. I have it. Yeah. They were like, you've got 3 minutes. I took 8.
He killed it.
That's so funny.
He killed it. I was like, I remember.
I didn't know what the light meant. I didn't know what the light meant. I'm telling the story.
I'm in the middle of this.
Sit down. And everybody's terrified of you, so they're just like, enjoy 8.
You can do it.
They let me go.
You got 3 minutes. Enjoy 8. Love it.
That was a cool time. It was a cool
That's
time.
great that you killed up there. I hate the belly room. It's my worst room in the whole building. Like I'm just like I avoid it at all costs.
In my situation, it was like a couple people in the crowd, like 3 to 5 people, almost all individuals, and then the section at the top, the bunk, the whatever that upper section is called, was full of comedians. And I'd seen the comedians earlier. They were not, it was at the time, maybe it's not like that now, but when I was there, they were not laughing for the other comedians on the stage telling stories. It was like they were stonewalling people. And then I went up there.
You were just in their way of going on stage.
Yeah, basically. And so I get up there and like, I think one of the first things I did was there was a guy sitting by himself. And I was like, man, what are you doing? You're making me really uncomfortable. Like, you do not look happy. You like talk to that guy. And everybody loosened up. And then all my jokes were great after that. But like, it was really uncomfortable.
I love it. We got to get that on this show. Steve, thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming on and talking to us. We enjoy it. We talk to friends. We talk to we talk to Husky boys. And even though you're nowhere near a Husky boy,
he used to be. Steve,
did you used to
Steve
be?
grew up a smaller Husky boy. I mean, you say it, Steve, because your mom treated you Husky, and you were definitely a ice cream for breakfast kid.
Oh, but plus, so I just had my nephews down here for the 4th of July because Uncle Steve overdid it with fireworks. And I'm like, you guys got to get down here. And so it was raining. So I had the kids on the back porch. And it's like, what do you do with little kids? So we start playing charades. And like, they wanted to do TV charades, but I don't know any of their shows. They're like, it's Phineas.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know it. So we start doing animals. And in my brain, I'm like, I'm going to kill this one. I'm going to be a parrot on a pirate's shoulder. So then I'm doing the parrot thing, and they're not getting that I'm on the shoulder. So I'm on the chair, and I turn my belly, and my nephew goes, a bird, a fat bird, a pregnant bird, a pregnant fat bird. Like, he just
took you down.
Funny, but he saw my belly, and he thought I was sticking it out on purpose. And
well, thanks to your nephew, you now are a Husky boy. So thanks for being on the Husky Boys. We love it. We love it.
What's your website? Really, where can people find out where you're going to be?
AwesomeSteve.com. I have to do a better job of updating my dates, but there's a link to my Instagram. I'm better at keeping up my Instagram than my website. And it looks like I'm going to shoot a special in September in New Jersey for anybody that lives near the dojo in Morris Plains. It's called Jesus and Donuts. Is going to be the name of my special. Yeah,
I love it.
You guys,
thanks,
awesome.
Steve.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Steve.
All right, love you, buddy.
Appreciate that. He's great. He's good to talk to.
Yeah, he was my real introduction into like the behind the stage comedy stuff. You know, like getting to be hanging out in the back room at the Comedy Store and all that stuff, and just seeing, you know, how much you guys give each other shit for wearing shorts.
Shorts. I love it.
In
Well,
LA,
you did great.
If you wear shorts, well, at least used to, 2018. If you wore shorts and you hung out in LA, oh man, they are gonna rip you apart. Like, it doesn't matter how hot it is, what it is, you have to wear pants.
1996, my first Conan appearance. I wore shorts and logging boots.
Did anybody say anything?
That Barry Katz came up to me and said afterwards, I like this character you've created. I'm like, it's not a character, bud. That's my best clothes.
My first time doing like I went to the ESPN Awards, and I got really fucked up before I went. I was fucking hammered, but I was wearing like a dressy vest with no sleeves. And like nice shirt. no sleeves, nothing, sunglasses on, mohawk cut, hammered as fuck, sitting there like in the front row, like just gone. And and people kept coming up and being like, "Oh, I love that you're not wearing sleeves and stuff." And I'd be like, boo, 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 you know, like
who's that special needs kids up front? Love it. Well, I know you got to poop, but you get going and have a great arm wrestle this weekend. Kick ass. Eddie Hall, you don't know what's coming for you. His name's Robert. He's an American monster. He's going to come get you. He's going to grab onto your arm. He's going to rip it off. Enjoy your fake gut.
I can't wait.